There's a silent moment in every soul's life when, amidst the world's chaos, it recognizes another vibrating on the same spiritual frequency. It's as if two celestial tuning forks resonate in unison across the dimensions of time and space. This moment isn't an accident, coincidence, or lucky break. It's the fulfillment of a promise made before birth, when our souls dance together in the higher realms of creation, weaving sacred agreements beyond human comprehension. Edgar Cayce, the visionary who peered beyond the veil of ordinary consciousness to bring us profound revelations about the soul's eternal nature, taught us that when two spiritual energies truly align, the universe conspires to unite them. It moves heaven and earth, synchronizing seemingly random events, dissolving impossible barriers, and creating bridges where once there were impassable chasms. But this union isn't just romance in the superficial sense, it's the meeting of two cosmic halves that separate only to reunite, life after life, carrying within their essences the echoes of all loves lived, all lessons learned, and all purposes yet to be fulfilled together. When you feel that inexplicable connection with someone, that immediate recognition beyond logic, when eyes meet and seem to say, "I've known you forever," when words flow as if a continuation of conversation started in other lifetimes, when your heart races not just with passion, but with an ancestral longing you didn't know you carried. These are the whispers the universe sends to your awakened soul, reminding you of ancient promises and intertwined destinies begging to be honored anew. However, the path of twin flames, of those energies vibrating in perfect harmony, is rarely as simple or linear as our rational minds would like. Cayce revealed that these souls often arrive carrying karmic debts from past lives, unlearned lessons, forgiveness yet to be granted, healing still awaiting. Therefore, not every encounter of aligned souls results in an immediate happy ending. Sometimes, these individuals enter our lives to teach us through pain, awaken us through conflict, and heal us through separation, forcing us to grow independently before we can truly unite as whole beings. Observe your own life with more sensitive eyes. How many times have you been inexplicably drawn to someone who seemed to awaken memories you never consciously lived? How often have you felt you knew the gestures, quirks, even the fears and dreams of a person you'd just met? How many times have you experienced a chemistry beyond the physical, a connection that seemed to touch deep layers of your soul you didn't know existed? These are remnants of past encounters, footprints left by other lives where these same souls crossed paths, loved, hurt, lost each other, and promised to find each other again. Cayce's wisdom teaches us that the universe is a divine weaver, intertwining the threads of all souls in a cosmic tapestry where every encounter holds meaning, every separation has purpose, and every reunion is a miracle carefully orchestrated by the higher laws governing spiritual evolution. When two energies are truly aligned, when two souls have made sacred pacts of mutual growth, the very fabric of reality bends to create the conditions necessary for them to meet at the right time, in the right place, with the right lessons to learn together. Perhaps you've noticed these synchronicities in your own experience, how certain people appear in your life precisely when you need the energy they carry, how seemingly impossible situations align to create opportunities for encounters, how obstacles mysteriously dissolve when the universe wants two souls to reconnect. This isn't magic in the fantastical sense, it's spiritual physics in action, the invisible laws, Cayce described as more real and powerful than any force we can measure with material instruments. But understand that this union of aligned energies extends far beyond what we traditionally call a romantic relationship. Two souls may be connected as mentors and students, as parents and children who chose these dynamics for mutual healing, as friends who promised unconditional support across multiple lifetimes, as spiritual work partners who came together to serve a higher purpose on the planet. True love between aligned souls manifests in countless forms, each perfectly suited to the evolutionary needs of both consciousnesses involved. Cayce often spoke of soul groups that reincarnate together, life after life, assuming different roles and relationships, but always maintaining the essential bonds that unite them in common purpose. Your mother in this life might have been your sister in a previous existence. Your best friend might have been your spouse in another century. Your most challenging romantic entanglement might have been someone with whom you have deep karmic debts that need to be resolved through love and understanding, not possession or control. At this point in our journey together, I need to pause for a moment and speak directly to your soul. If these words are resonating in your heart, if you feel you finally found someone who understands those deep truths you've always intuited but never known how to express, I invite you to join this spiritual family gathering here on this channel to explore the most sacred mysteries of existence. Click the subscribe button now and hit the notification bell, because each week I share revelations that can completely transform your understanding of who you truly are, the purposes your soul came to fulfill in this life, and how to recognize and honor the sacred encounters the universe is preparing for you. Don't let these messages get lost in the noise of the world. Ensure they reach you at the exact moment your soul most needs to hear these life-changing truths. Your presence here is not accidental, and I know you know this deep in your heart. Now continue with me on this exploration of connections that transcend time and space. When Edgar Cayce entered his trance state and accessed the Akashic records, that cosmic library where every thought, every emotion, every action of every soul ever created is eternally recorded, he frequently revealed astonishing stories of souls who sought each other across centuries, who lost and found each other, who faced wars, persecution, forced separations, and tragic deaths, but who never gave up on honoring the bonds that united them beyond physical death. These revelations show us that true love, that deep connection between aligned energies, is literally stronger than death. Individual consciousness may leave the physical body, but soul-to-soul bonds remain intact, influencing the choices we make about where to be born, into which family to incarnate, which paths to follow, and which people to encounter throughout each new existence. That's why you sometimes feel an inexplicable attraction to certain places, certain historical periods, certain cultures. Your soul is remembering lives where you walked those places alongside other souls who may now be in your life again under new identities. And here's one of the most profound revelations from Edgar Cayce's teachings: when two souls are truly aligned, they not only attract each other, but begin to emanate a combined frequency that attracts other experiences, other people, other opportunities that are in harmony with the joint purpose of those two consciousnesses. It's as if the union of two spiritual energies creates a more powerful magnetic field, capable of manifesting realities that neither soul could create alone. Observe this in relationships you know or have experienced. When two people are truly connected on deep levels, not just romantically, but spiritually, their whole lives seem to organize themselves more harmoniously. Opportunities arise, projects flourish, even challenges seem to arrive as gentle teachers instead of devastating catastrophes. This happens because two souls aligned in common purpose create an amplified creative force, a power of manifestation that echoes through all dimensions of existence. But Edgar Cayce also warned us about the illusions that can arise in this process. Not every intense attraction indicates true soul alignment. Sometimes we are drawn to people who carry energies we need to learn to balance within ourselves, who represent shadowy aspects of our personalities we haven't yet integrated, who arrive to teach us difficult lessons about emotional dependency, about projecting our unhealed wounds, about the difference between unconditional love and emotional neediness. The true union of aligned souls is recognized not only by the intensity of the connection, but by the peace it brings, the growth it inspires, the freedom it offers instead of the possessiveness it awakens. When two energies are truly in spiritual harmony, each feels more whole in the presence of the other, more connected to their own divine purpose, more capable of expressing their authentic nature without fear of judgment or rejection. Edgar Cayce described these authentic connections as memories of the original unity, distant echoes of that moment in creation when all souls were one consciousness before fragmenting into individual experiences to explore all possible aspects of divine love. When two of these consciousnesses recognize each other through the veils of human personality, when they manage to see beyond the masks we wear to navigate the physical world and touch the eternal essence residing in each other's hearts, they experience a glimpse of that original unity that is both our past and our ultimate destiny. But this recognition process is not always instantaneous or easy. Often, the lessons two souls have come to learn together require them to first meet as adversaries, as challenges to each other, as mirrors reflecting exactly what each needs to heal within themselves. Edgar Cayce explained that some of the deepest connections begin with the greatest conflicts, because only through intense friction can these souls break through the layers of protection and conditioning they've built up over multiple lifetimes. Therefore, don't be discouraged if a connection that seems destined is going through turbulent periods. Sometimes, two souls need to first learn to love themselves completely before they can unite in a healthy and evolving way. Sometimes, the external obstacles that seem to prevent a union are actually opportunities for both consciousnesses to develop faith, patience, compassion, and the understanding that true love cannot be forced or controlled. It blossoms naturally when internal and external conditions are aligned with divine timing. The universe holds infinite wisdom regarding when, how, and where to allow two aligned energies to fully unite. As Edgar Cayce taught, this higher wisdom always considers not only the well-being of the two souls involved, but also the impact their union will have on all other consciousnesses within their spheres of influence. Sometimes, two souls must wait because their premature union could harm others who still depend on them for their own growth. Sometimes, they need to fulfill other karmic commitments, lessons, or services they've pledged to undertake before they can fully dedicate themselves to one another. This broader perspective helps us understand why so many profound connections experience periods of separation, why people who clearly belong together sometimes need to take different paths for a while, why the timing of soulmate encounters rarely aligns with our immediate desires or emotional impatience. The universe isn't being cruel or indifferent, it's orchestrating a complex symphony where every note, every rest, every movement holds meaning within a larger composition that our limited minds can't fully grasp. Edgar Cayce often advised people to cultivate patience and trust when dealing with soul connections that seemed impossible or too complicated to resolve easily. He explained that rushing, anxiety, and attempting to force outcomes only create resistance to the natural flow of synchronized events the universe is preparing. The more a soul aligns with divine timing, the more easily circumstances arrange themselves to manifest what is meant to be. This doesn't mean passivity or resignation, it means inspired action instead of desperate action. It means working on oneself, healing one's wounds, developing one's abilities, fulfilling one's purpose while keeping one's heart open to the possibilities the universe is preparing. It means trusting that if two souls are truly aligned, no force in the universe can permanently prevent their union, but also understanding that this union will occur in the way and at the time that serves the greatest good of all involved. One of the most striking characteristics of aligned soul connections is the ease with which they communicate beyond words. Edgar Cayce described phenomena where two connected individuals began having similar dreams, intuitions about each other's emotional state, even across distances, synchronized thoughts manifesting in phone calls at the exact moment the other person was thinking of calling. These aren't coincidences or fantasies, they are natural manifestations of the energetic connection between consciousnesses vibrating at the same spiritual frequency. When you're truly connected to an aligned soul, you can physically sense when they're struggling, even if separated by continents. You might wake in the middle of the night with an inexplicable certainty that you need to send a message, make a call, send a prayer, only to later discover it was precisely when the other person most needed to feel your presence and love. These experiences show us that physical separation is merely an illusion of three-dimensional reality. On higher planes of consciousness, two aligned souls remain eternally connected by invisible threads of light and love that no distance can break. Edgar Cayce also taught that these deep connections often awaken latent psychic abilities in both individuals. The spiritual intimacy created between two aligned souls acts as a consciousness amplifier, allowing each to access levels of perception and intuition they might never have experienced alone. It's common for truly connected couples to develop a kind of natural telepathy, to begin having prophetic visions or dreams about their future together, to sense the presence of unseen spiritual guides or mentors who seem to be blessing and protecting their union. These expanded experiences of consciousness aren't the privilege of a select few. They are natural potentials that awaken when two souls allow themselves to connect at the deepest levels of their true spiritual identity. Edgar Cayce explained that unconditional love acts as a key that unlocks doors of perception that normally remain closed when we operate solely from our surface personality or conditioned ego. But it's important to understand that these expanded abilities come with corresponding responsibilities. When two souls connect at such profound levels, they begin to influence each other in very subtle yet powerful ways. The thoughts, emotions, even the life choices of one connected person begin to energetically affect their soulmate, creating a mutual responsibility to maintain elevated vibrational states, to cultivate loving and constructive thoughts, to constantly seek spiritual growth that benefits not only themselves but also the consciousness with which they are interwoven. Edgar Cayce frequently warned that this mutual responsibility is one of the most challenging tests aligned souls face together. It's easy to love someone when everything is flowing harmoniously, when both are at their best, when external life is cooperating with their dreams and plans. But true love between connected souls is tested when one person is going through their darkest periods, when grappling with their inner demons, when temporarily disconnected from their higher spiritual nature and operating from fear, insecurity, or destructive patterns. It's in these moments that the true nature of the connection is revealed. Truly aligned souls can see beyond their partner's temporary behaviors and maintain contact with the luminous essence they know exists beneath any passing darkness. They can offer unconditional love without getting lost in the drama or dysfunction, maintain compassion without enabling destructive behaviors, and be anchors of light to help the other soul find their way back home spiritually. This capacity to love unconditionally through all seasons of the human soul is perhaps the greatest gift two aligned souls can offer one another. Edgar Cayce described this type of love as a direct reflection of the Creator's love for each of his creations, a love that never wavers, never judges, never gives up, never fails to see the divine potential that exists in the heart of every soul, no matter how lost or confused it may momentarily be. When two people manage to maintain this level of love for one another, they become channels through which divine love itself can manifest in the physical world. Their union becomes a living example of how higher consciousness can express itself through human relationships, inspiring other souls to seek this same level of authentic connection in their own lives. Edgar Cayce explained that this is one of the highest purposes that two aligned souls can fulfill together, to serve as beacons of hope for other souls who are still searching for this transformative quality of love. But even the deepest and most destined connections go through natural cycles of closeness and distance, of harmony and growth through conflict, of union and individuation. Edgar Cayce taught us that these cycles are not signs of failure or incompatibility. They are natural rhythms through which two souls explore different aspects of their connection, different lessons they came to learn together, different ways to express and expand the love that unites them. Sometimes two souls need to temporarily separate so that each can integrate the transformations that their connection has awakened. Sometimes they need to explore other experiences, other relationships, other paths of growth before they can return to one another with a more mature and complete understanding of who they are individually and what they can create together. Edgar Cayce often advised people not to interpret these separations as definitive endings, but as necessary interludes in the eternal symphony that two aligned souls are composing together across multiple lifetimes. The key to navigating these cycles with grace and wisdom is to always maintain connection with the broader perspective, to remember that two truly aligned souls are bound by ties that transcend any temporal circumstance, any external challenge, any period of confusion or distance. The love that exists between them does not depend on physical proximity, does not depend on constant harmony, does not even depend on both being simultaneously conscious and open to the connection. Edgar Cayce taught us that when two energies are truly aligned at the soul level, they continue to influence each other and grow together even when their human personalities are apparently separated or in conflict. On the higher planes of consciousness, where their true spiritual identities reside, these souls remain eternally connected, constantly sending each other blessings, energetic healing, unconditional love and support for evolutionary growth. This understanding can bring profound peace to those who are experiencing complicated or seemingly impossible connections. Knowing that true love is eternal, that aligned souls always find ways to mutually benefit regardless of external circumstances, that every shared experience, whether of joy or sorrow, contributes to the joint growth of both consciousnesses, can transform even the most challenging situations into opportunities to demonstrate faith, compassion, and elevated spiritual understanding. Edgar Cayce also revealed that often, when two souls are destined to unite but external circumstances seem impossible, the universe is preparing a third way, a creative solution that neither person could imagine with their limited minds, but which perfectly resolves all apparent contradictions and allows the union to happen in a way that serves the greater good of all involved. These divine solutions often arrive through unexpected changes that may initially seem disruptive or challenging, but which end up completely reorganizing the landscape of both people's lives to open up possibilities that did not exist before. An unexpected career change, a necessary geographical relocation, changes in family structure, even seemingly devastating losses can be instruments through which the universe removes obstacles and creates the perfect conditions for two aligned souls to finally meet in the ideal time, place, and circumstances. Trust in this higher wisdom of the universe is one of the most important qualities that connected souls can develop. Edgar Cayce constantly emphasized that the more a person can align themselves with divine will instead of trying to force their own limited agendas, the more easily miracles manifest in their life. This means learning to distinguish between ego desires and soul aspirations, between possessive passion and liberating love, between emotional impatience and divine timing. When two people manage to maintain this attitude of trust and alignment with higher purposes, they discover that even periods of separation or uncertainty become opportunities to deepen their spiritual connection, to develop qualities such as patience, faith, compassion, and unconditional love that they might never have developed if everything were always easy and straightforward. Edgar Cayce frequently said that the most evolved souls choose the most challenging paths precisely because they know that these challenges are opportunities for accelerated growth, for the development of higher virtues, for the practical demonstration of the elevated spiritual principles they came to master in this existence. Two truly aligned souls often choose complex scenarios not because they want to suffer, but because they want to use their connection as a vehicle to transcend limitations, heal old karmic patterns, and demonstrate to the world that true love can triumph over any obstacle when it is grounded in genuine spiritual understanding. As our journey together nears its culmination, I want to imprint on your consciousness a fundamental truth that Edgar Cayce tirelessly reiterated throughout his readings on soul connections. When two energies are truly aligned, when two souls have made sacred pacts of mutual growth on higher planes of existence, absolutely nothing in the universe can permanently prevent their union, but that union will always occur at the perfect time, in the perfect way, under the perfect circumstances that will serve not only the well-being of these two souls, but the greater good of the entire network of consciousnesses that are part of their intertwined destinies. This means that your role in this divine process is not one of anxiety, manipulation, or attempts to control outcomes, but of constant preparation, preparing your heart to receive and offer unconditional love, preparing your mind to recognize and honor the signs the universe constantly sends, preparing your life to become a sacred space where a soul connection can flourish in all its divine fullness. Edgar Cayce reminded us that each day is an opportunity to align ourselves more completely with our higher spiritual nature, to heal the wounds that may be blocking our ability to connect authentically, to cultivate the qualities such as patience, compassion, wisdom, and faith that make it possible to sustain soul-level relationships where two consciousnesses recognize each other as unique aspects of the same divine source of love. When you truly understand that your soul is never alone, that somewhere in the universe there is one or more consciousnesses that vibrate in perfect harmony with your deepest essence, that the very fabric of reality is constantly working to create opportunities for reconnection and reunion, an indescribable peace settles in your heart, the peace of knowing that you are eternally loved, eternally connected, eternally part of a cosmic dance of souls that seek each other, find each other, transform each other, and together evolve toward the complete understanding that in the end, all souls are one soul exploring infinite expressions of divine love. This is the promise the universe made to every consciousness at the moment of its creation. You will never walk alone. You will always find those who can see and love your true nature. You will always have opportunities to experience the ecstasy of being completely known and accepted by another soul that recognizes in you the reflection of its own inner divinity. When you feel this recognition happening, when you look into someone's eyes and see not just a human personality, but an ancient soul carrying memories of shared journeys through time and space, you are experiencing one of the most sacred miracles existence can offer, the return to the spiritual home you carry within, but which only fully reveals itself when reflected in the heart of another soul vibrating at the same frequency of love, understanding, and divine purpose. And so, dear soul who has accompanied me to this moment of revelation, I ask you, in which mirrors of consciousness have you seen reflections of your own eternity, and how can you open your heart even further to recognize and honor these sacred connections that the universe is constantly weaving around your journey of awakening?